Okay, there's my movie, and what I want to do is change the properties of that numerically instead of by moving them manually like this. So I'm gonna open it from down here, and here I have the transform. The transform includes the position, which I can change, the scale, the rotation, the opacity, and the anchor point. We'll talk about this in detail. First of all, the easiest thing is the position. Remember, when I change this here manually, if you look down, you will see that the x and y values are changing. So this is the x value, which is the horizontal value, and this is the y value, which is the vertical value. If we set these to 0 and 0, the center of the movie will go to 0 and 0. So this is 0 in x, this is 720 in x, this is 0 in y, and this is 576 in y. Because we said that the composition size is 720 times 576. So that's 0, that's the maximum in horizontally in x, and that's the maximum in y. So let's undo to get it back here. So it's in the center. 360 happens to be 720 over 2, which is halfway through, and 288 is 576 over 2. So that's the position, which I can change numerically. And one thing that's very efficient is that if you put the cursor on one of the numbers down here, you can actually slide it in and out, right? In this case, the x value. In case you go with the y value, you slide it up and down. So whatever number you put on, you can change it interactively. Now the scale is how big or how small. This is not zooming. This is actually making things bigger or smaller. Scaling. I have two values, x and y. X is horizontal and y is vertical. If I go like this, both are changing at the same time because I have a lock on them. Control Z to undo. If I unclick on the lock and I change x, I'll be stretching, which is not something good. It's like in Photoshop, you are changing the scale without pressing shift. It's best really to click here to lock both values, so that when you change one of them, the other one will change as well. So if I want to do that numerically, it's probably 120%, and that's it. Now the movie is exactly the same fit as my composition. Now the anchor point is the center of scaling, right? So here, if I change the anchor point, let's say to 0, so now horizontally it's at 0, it's no longer in the center. And if I change the anchor point vertically to 0, again, that's now the center of everything, of the position, scale, rotation of the object. So in case I want to put it now here, I have to set the position to 0 and 0, because that's now the center of the object. It's no longer its physical center, because I changed it to 0, 0. So whenever the anchor point is 0, 0, it means that it's here, and therefore the position to be aligned there, you also have to put it to 0 and 0. Alright, so it's very simple. You just have to think of how you are placing your movie on the composition with respect to the anchor point and the position. For now, I'm going to undo to get back to what I had before. Alright, so that's it. Let's go back to 120%. So now we know about the anchor point and about the position and about the scale. What about the rotation? It's very simple. You use it to rotate the video like this. Alright, and this is how many rotations it has, and this is the degrees. So if I say 3 rotations, it's like it rotated once, twice, 3 times, but it looks the same because I rotated every time 360 degrees, which is one full rotation. This will become clear when I animate this. Here, this is the degrees. So if I type 10 degrees, it's 10, 20 degrees, 90 degrees, and so forth. To reset, I go back to 0. And the opacity, just like in Photoshop, you can reduce the opacity and increase it. Let's drag in another movie, This one is the bear. Let's drag down the lake and put it underneath the bear. Again, here I'm gonna hide the bear just to see the lake. And I'm gonna expand transform. And I'll do the same for scale, 120%, so that it's the same size as my composition. And I'll go back to the bear and I'll show it, because I want to see what the opacity does. If I reduce the opacity, now that I have something underneath, I can see actually the movie below it. You see this a lot on TV when you have something fading into the screen. You can. Alright, so you have 0% and then you increase that to 100% and so forth. So what I'm doing now actually is changing the values, but I'm not really animating anything. So I'm just giving it one solid value. Next, I'm going to be doing animations so that, for example, I can animate the movie coming onto the screen and then changing the position, rotation, scale, opacity.